straight to the top. Whoa, 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 whoa. I gotta keep pushing, pushing, ready or not. Straight to the top. Ready or not.
They weren't joking with the whole ice in Iceland thing. Did not expect snow here. Anyways, the reason why we're here is to test out this guy, the new laptop from MSI. It's called the P65 Creator. I think the P stands for prestige. That's why we're here. Thanks MSI for sending us to Iceland to freeze our butts off. Really appreciate it. Hi guys, future Matti here. So we were in Iceland testing out this guy, the P65 Creator from MSI. And traditionally, at least in my mind, MSI has been more of a gaming computer company. But with this laptop, they're really aiming for us creators, filmmakers, photographers, if you're using Lightroom, Photoshop, Premiere, all of that stuff. I actually bought an Msi Trident, which is like a gaming PC for home, but I wanted to see, is this guy good for us creators? Don't get me wrong, you could still do some serious gaming on this thing because this is a beast of a laptop. And it's everything you would want in a laptop. It's sleek, it's small, it's lightweight, the monitor is really nice, 4K, the keyboard I enjoy, it's good battery life, but most importantly, this is the most powerful laptop that I've ever owned. I also brought my brother to, wait, what are you doing on this trip again?
Taking all the photos.
Oh, that's right, for the photos. Need a master photographer on these kinds of trips, especially when we're freezing out here. This guy didn't even bring a winter jacket, so
definitely not prepared for this.
We may be good at this whole videography, photography thing, but we're not as good at preparing for the experiences thing. I also brought my editor, Matt. I brought Matt to help me test out the laptop since he helps me edit. How are you feeling right now? You don't look so warm.
You know, just toasty.
Looking like a true Canadian over here. He does not look warm at all. We did not come prepared for this. Matt, what are your first thoughts so far of the laptop?
It's great. I love the 2070.
I don't think this is the right place to be talking about specs, Matt. Let's get back to the office. We'll talk about that there. Now, confession time, I am not the most techie person when it comes to computers. I don't actually know that much about computers, but that's why I hired an editor who actually knows his stuff about PCs and computers and all of that stuff, because I don't. Future Matt, can you come over here? Future Matt, can you talk us through some of the specs?
Yeah, for sure.
I just told him that I don't know that much about computers, so you're gonna have to help me out here. You're the guy for this. What are the specs on this thing?
All right, so we got the i9 9880H. We got a 2070 graphics card. We got 32 gigs of RAM, terabyte SSD, 4K display.
If you're like me and those just kind of sound like numbers, don't worry, it's cool. It basically means that this thing is a beast. It's super powerful. This thing is way more fast than my MacBook Pro here. And this one, granted this is from, I think like 2017, 2018, like a year and a half ago, I bought this. It cost $6,500 Canadian. That's with Apple Care, but still a lot of money. And this thing is only around $3,000. We actually wanted to see what like a similar spec MacBook Pro would cost. And what did we come up with? Well, first of all, you can't even get there, right?
No.
You can't even really get close to the specs, especially with the graphics cards. They're just not as good in the Macs. So even with the newest, most powerful graphics card that you could get in the new MacBook Pros, what was it compared to, like on the PC side of things?
So the most spec'd out graphics card you can get in a MacBook Pro is the Radeon Pro Vega 20
That doesn't say much to me, but
So if you're not familiar with the AMD line like myself, you might know the NVIDIA line, which according to notebookcheck.net, it compares to a 980M.
what does that mean, Matt?
The 980M came out in 2014. It's an older card. It's a
2014. The newest MacBook Pro would come with essentially a graphics card that's equivalent of a 2014 graphics card on a PC.
yeah.
And how much would that cost us? That fully spec'd out MacBook?
So if we wanted to get similar specs, we're looking at $4150.
So 4150 with similar specs, which actually aren't very similar in a lot of ways. That's a tough sell. But specs are one thing. What did you actually think about using this guy? What was it like? What was the real world experience? Because just like with cameras, a lot of times specs mean one thing and then real world use is totally different.
Yeah, so the biggest thing we learned real quick was drone footage. It handled the drone footage much better than our MacBooks.
Have you ever noticed that drone footage is like the hardest thing for your computer? It literally just like skips. Like if I'm editing on this guy, I can't watch a drone clip. I kind of just have to like look at the in point and out point and like hope it's good. But on this MSI, we could literally just play the drone footage, no problems at all, no stuttering, no skipping. We just played it. And that for us really speeds up things in terms of workflow if we can actually see what we're editing instead of just having to try to guess, especially when we're working on the road and you're like in the back of a car trying to edit, makes it a little bit better. So it was a good experience.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Thank you, Future Matt. Really appreciate that. Thank you for the tech specs lowdown. Appreciate it. Go back to work, Future Matt. Get back to editing. It's really nice to have somebody who actually knows about computers because I am lacking in that area. Okay, I'm currently hiking down to a cool little waterfall spot. We can get some cool photos and video clips because in order to really test a laptop, you gotta have some epic footage. Can't just test it with normal footage, so you know, gotta go the extra distance. So there's a cool shot if you can get down there, but there's a cliff here. I'm trying to find the best way down because you always got to go the extra distance to get the real good shots. I think this is the best spot right here. All right, if I get hurt, I'm sorry, princess. That wasn't so bad. Also, my wife's name is Princess. It's not just like a pet name. Her name is Princess. That's my brother up there. Matt's somewhere over there. I came from around there. Getting to this spot. There's the waterfall, and that is the spot I want to get to, so they can take some photos and video clips from up there with the waterfall in the background. Hopefully this is worth it. This whole experience testing out this MSI laptop has really gotten me thinking about the whole Mac versus PC thing, and I know there's probably a million different videos on this topic, but what about 2019? In 2019, should a filmmaker, photographer, creator be getting a Mac or a PC? And for me, ever since the beginning of my filmmaking career, I've been using Macs. I got the first MacBook Pro unibody aluminum laptop. I think that was in like 2009 or something like that. And ever since then, I've had Apple MacBook Pros and iMacs. Up until last year, I've only used Apple computers for filmmaking. And the reason why we ended up going with a PC last year is because I feel like Apple products have kind of either plateaued or started to go down. Meanwhile, the prices are just skyrocketing. It feels like every few years the price is doubling, even though the products aren't getting that much better. And I'm okay paying more if the product is really good, but when the product starts to be not as great, then why would you pay so much for it? For example, my latest MacBook Pro that I bought, it's $6,500 Canadian with all the extras, and I haven't been that impressed with it. First of all, the keyboard, I don't like it at all. I've had to replace it. The keys still get stuck. It's just not a good keyboard. I hate the touch bar. The touch bar, I thought it was gonna be kind of cool, but I don't like having to look down. When we're talking about keyboard shortcuts, it's not very helpful if you have to look down at the keyboard or touch bar to use those shortcuts. You want to be able to just hit them and not take your eyes off the screen. But with the touch bar, you always have to look at it because you can't tell what buttons you're pressing on the touch bar. And on top of that, it hasn't been very fast. Like I said, if I'm editing drone footage on this MacBook, it's just skipping and stuttering. You really cannot do it. This MacBook really isn't worth $6,500 Canadian. And what the heck are we paying for even? I feel like a lot of that is just the brand, and the brand isn't as good as it used to be, in my opinion. Yeah, for sure, Macs are still easier to use, I think. Overall, I think if you're in the PC ecosystem, you need to know a little bit more to get the most out of your PC. So that's something that you do need to keep in mind. But honestly, I'm not very impressed with the new MacBook Pros, and I kind of just wish I had an older, non-touch bar MacBook Pro right now than this guy. And that's not a very good thing when I wish I had one of their older products versus their newer stuff. So that's why we've been using both Macs and PCs. We have the PC desktop here at the office, and now we have this new PC laptop. I will say I still love the Mac OS. I like iMessage, Notes, and all that stuff, how they're all integrated into the different devices. But man, it's just really, really hard to justify buying Apple products nowadays when it comes to the computers. And I really do think that PCs are starting to take over when it comes to us creators, filmmakers, photographers, graphic designers, all of that stuff, because they're just a lot more powerful. And maybe they were always better, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a fool for falling for the marketing and shiny products and all that stuff. But I honestly think the reign of Apple, it's starting to come down pretty hard. In the end, it's completely up to you where and how you spend your money. But if you are looking for a laptop, I highly recommend you check out the MSI P65 Creator, because this thing is a beast. Hey, Matt, can I have my gloves back?
Yeah.
I'm a good boss sometimes. Sometimes a little bit too good of a boss. My hands are numb now. I'll take those back though. All right, I think that was a successful mission. Thank you, Detifos. I think that's how you say it. It was a good time, great time. Now we gotta hike back. It's like we're hiking in Mars, except there's snow. It's weird. Wait for me, guys. Yeah. I've gone up and down like twice or 3 times already. That vlog life. My legs are moving real fast, but I'm not moving very fast. I swear I'm not super out of shape. It's just running in black sand upwards in the cold. It's tiring. This is much better than the snowy weather though. Right, boys?
Oh yeah.